I had a pleasure of going to a high school graduation last week. Hundreds of young people graduating high school, going into college. It was a wonderful thing to see. When I looked at them and I start thinking about myself as to what would I have learned, what would I have wanted to learn at their age if I was them today. You see, today's world, there's just so much going on, so much pressure that is put on to the people, to our children, to our young people, that is just amazing. And most of the pressure is truly sales, is truly through the media, is through everything that is pressuring young people to say, if you are not able to become a multimillionaire overnight because you will take my course, then you have not accomplished anything. And that truly disturbed me, because there is no such thing as a quick buck. There is no such thing as a quick success. Perhaps there are people, perhaps there's 0.5% of the world population who have become overnight success like that. But there are not many people. So my mind went to that. My mind went to myself as to what would I have said to myself. Now, of course, I wrote my book, A Matter of Destiny, Passion, or Wish, which basically talks about what my childhood was and as to how I was brought up and all my trials and my tribulations. When I, at age of 19, 18 and a half, I came to Canada, and as to what my challenges were. And so I can understand the challenges of the young people today. So without going any further, what I wanted to do was to talk to them about the certain fundamentals, certain foundations, certain principles. If we can be mindful, if we can adhere to those principles, if we can work with those foundations, then what happens is you get stronger. And when you get stronger, you basically create self-mastery. Now, when we talk about self-mastery, everybody automatically, the mind goes to a sage sitting somewhere on the top of a mountain, giving advice, giving great advice to the people. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the real life. What I'm talking about is us, the everyday people. Us, the everyday people who can have the self-mastery. We can control our own emotions. We can make our own destiny. We can conquer whatever we want to. But we need those tools. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, is the tools that give you that mastery. Now, nothing in my subject is new. Nothing is earth-shattering. Nothing that you are going to look at and say, oh my God, this is something that I've never known. It's all basics, totally basics. Because today we're at a time in the world where every subject has been spoken. Every item has been talked about. It's just, what is your take? Now, for me, why I talk about it is because when I followed many of the writers, many of the people who I felt gave me a lot of information, one of them was Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor would always suggest, read it and read it again. Because what happens is, unless and until we are repeating the same thing consistently, unless and until we're injecting the same thought in our head, in our mind on a constant basis, the outside sources are just so strong that we can basically forget as to what we started with. And that happens to be the truth in today's very, very fast-paced world. So I am going to repeat the same thing that you heard before, and I hope and I wish that you would be mindful of one thing or two things. And that is what creates basically the self-mastery. So here are the 5 principles, here are the 5 fundamentals, here are the 5 foundations that I feel are so important for everyone to basically keep in their back pockets, to understand what life is. Because this is what I believed in. That is what gave me success from having no money to eat and no money to pay rent to becoming a leader in one of the largest lighting companies in the world. I did that, and when I look back, sometimes even I am surprised. But then I had that will. I had that will to do what I wanted to do. And yes, I had a lot of failures along the way. But I was able to grapple with those failures, learn from them, get up, and keep on going. So here are the 5 fundamentals or principles. Number 1 is self-faith. Again, you must have heard that expression so many times. But self-faith is really something that we create internally. And we say to ourselves that, yes, I can do it. Yes, I have the nature take my back. Bob Proctor used to say, if it is to be, it's up to me. So I have to have that self-faith in myself. I have to keep grounded, but I have to have the self-faith that I can do whatever that I put my mind to. Whatever that is my desire, whatever that is my goal. You know, we all love so many things. We all are good at so many things. But then we lose sometimes faith. We lose faith within ourselves and say, maybe not, maybe I'll do this tomorrow. But we need to get onto it. We need to do that. So self-faith, of course, being grounded and understanding that self-faith does not mean go stand in front of a truck, or rather say stand in front of a passing a fast-moving truck. But self-faith with grounding, self-faith with that mindset that yes, you can do it, and yes, this is achievable. Now, with that, the next item that bodes well is always the self-empowerment. If you have faith in yourself, then you have to give yourself the permission. You see, many Sufis, many writers, and many poets have talked about, and one of them, something that stuck with me for the rest of my life, and that was something that my father just kept on repeating to me, and that was that you make your own destiny. You make your own destiny, even whatever you believe in, whatever faith you have, make your destiny. And if the person, or if that higher power that's writing your faith, let that person come to you and ask you what you want your faith to be. And to me, that's self-empowerment. That is self-empowerment, but with humility. And say that, yes, I give myself permission to do that. That's so important. That is such an important part of giving the permission to yourself, to letting yourself the permission to go out and do, because you know that you can do it. And that's how you create your own destiny. So again, a very, very simple thing. But if we are mindful of that, that we can make our own destiny. And even if there are hurdles, have that faith that you will go through it. The third thing is truly, again, we live in the culture we live in the world where instant gratification is guaranteed to you. Everybody says, follow my method and you will become a billionaire within a month. Follow this and you will become so high. If you did this, and pardon me for saying that, but that's what the trend is. That's what people say. If you did this, then you can have that shiny car, you can have that large house, you can have all the great things in the world, which is automatically showing you that there is an instant gratification. But really, there exists no such thing as an instant gratification. So chasing instant gratification will only do two harms, or two ways it can harm you. The first one is basically when and if, say you ran a business for a year and you made a little bit of money after getting your salary, and there's some working capital left, and you said, you know what, I am now a businessman, I deserve myself a better car than what I have today. And you go out and you take that capital and you invest in that gratification. Now, what you've done is basically put yourself in a tight situation. Put yourself in a situation where it is going to be difficult should you have a difficult couple of next months. Already what you're doing is you've distracted yourself. So quick gratification, number one, right away, this holds you back. The second part is that if you're looking for a quick gratification, and if you have a very good plan, a plan that you're going towards, something that you want to achieve, something that you want to do, but it's taking longer than you expected. So automatically what's going to happen is you are going to be disappointed. And once you're disappointed, then game is over again. So quick gratification, quick getting to see the results so quick will never work. You need to put in the time. And trust me, you need to put in the time. And that is the message that I gave myself when I was finishing my high school. And that's the message that I would give today to the people finishing the high school. Because once you can grind it, once you can stay with it, then the world is yours. The next item is service to the community. You know, we live in a world where we get too much wrapped up in me, myself. But there is such thing as community and community work and meeting people and helping people who are in need. Now, I have always believed, and here was a simple thing that my father taught me, and his way of telling this was in a very different way. He would say, always have your hand this way. Always be giving. And he says, as long as your hand is like this, you will always have enough to give. So you see, working with the community. Now, when you work with the community, you meet a lot of people. That even helps your business. But at the same time, you're doing something for other people. Having that feeling that you are giving to the community. Trust me, the community gives back. So, very important part of the life is to be working with the community, to be a part of a giver, to be a part of the helper. By helping, we learn so many things, which brings me to the last one, which is always be learning. You see, there are people who think they know everything, and they're not up to date with what's going on. Now, those are the dangerous people in a room. Because, why? Because they are not up to date with what's going on. So how can they help you? How can they contribute to your growth? How can they contribute to anything because they are not up to date? So today, what's going on in the world? So many great things have happened. In the last 50 years, we have seen an industrial revolution. We have seen things grow so fast. I have seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. And now we live at the edge of the technology with artificial intelligence helping us in every way. Where things that took hours to do, now we do them in minutes. But you need to learn and you need to be consistently up to date. You see, learning never finishes. And if I was to talk to my younger person, if I was to talk to those people who graduated last week, this is what I would tell them. The learning never finishes. And you may feel that this is where you're going to stop your school, and I hope you don't, and I'm not suggesting that. But I'm saying that if even you stop there, continue to learn, continue to understand what is this world made up of. So there are these were the 5 small principles, 5 small fundamentals, foundations, whatever you want to call them. If you can write them down, and if you can follow them, you will see that in this world where everybody's rushing to get to the top, everybody's rushing to get to that pinnacle, you will do much better because you are well equipped, because you gonna have self-mastery with those 5 pillars. So I hope you understood something from this. I hope you take something from there. And if you know somebody who needs to see this, please forward it to them. And if you have any questions, please contact me anytime. Until then, thank you very much. This is Aslam Khatri. Goodbye.